Publisher's Note of The Boy Scout and Other Stories for Boys. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by David Wales. The Boy Scout and Other Stories for Boys by Richard Harding Davis. Publisher's Note. Richard Harding Davis, as a friend and fellow author has written of him, was "youth incarnate," and there is probably nothing that he wrote of which a boy would not some day come to feel the appeal. But there are certain of his stories that go with a special directness to a boy's heart and sympathies, and make for him quite unforgettable literature. A few of these were made some years ago into a volume, Stories for Boys, and found a large and enthusiastic special public in addition to Davis's general readers; and the present collection from stories more recently published is issued with the same motive. This book takes its title from "The Boy Scout," the first of its tales, and it includes "The Boy Who Cried Wolf," "Blood Will Tell," "The Immortal Gallegher," and "The Bar Sinister," Davis's famous dog story. It is a fresh volume added to what Augustus Thomas calls "safe stuff to give to a young fellow who likes to take off his hat and dilate his nostrils and feel the wind in his face." End of Publisher's Note. Chapter I of The Boy Scout and Other Stories for Boys by Richard Harding Davis. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter I. The Boy Scout. A rule of the Boy Scouts is every day to do some one a good turn. Not because the copybooks tell you it deserves another, but in spite of that pleasing possibility. If you are a true scout, until you have performed your act of kindness, your day is dark. You are as unhappy as is the grown up who has begun his day without shaving or reading the New York Sun. But as soon as you have proved yourself, you may, with a clear conscience, look the world in the face and untie the knot in your kerchief. Jimmie Reeder untied the accusing knot in his scarf at just 10 minutes past 8 on a hot August morning, after he had given 1 dime to his sister Sadie. With that she could either witness the first run films at the Palace, or by dividing her fortune patronize 2 of the nickel shows on Lenox Avenue. The choice Jimmie left to her. He was setting out for the annual encampment of the Boy Scouts at Hunter's Island, and in the excitement of that adventure even the movies ceased to thrill. But Sadie also could be unselfish. With the heroism of a camp fire maiden she made a gesture which might have been interpreted to mean she was returning the money. "I can't, Jimmie," she gasped. "I can't take it off you. You saved it, and you ought to get the fun of it." "I haven't saved it yet," said Jimmie. "I'm going to cut it out of the railroad fare. I'm going to get off at City Island instead of at Pelham Manor, and walk the difference. That's 10 cents cheaper." Sadie exclaimed with admiration, "And you carrying that heavy grip!" "Aw, that's nothing," said the man of the family. "Good bye, mother. So long, Sadie." To ward off further expressions of gratitude, he hurriedly advised Sadie to take in "The Curse of Cain" rather than "The Mohawk's Last Stand," and fled down the front steps. He wore his khaki uniform. On his shoulders was his knapsack, from his hands swung his suit case, and between his heavy stockings and his shorts his knee caps, unkissed by the sun, as yet unscathed by blackberry vines, showed as white and fragile as the wrists of a girl. As he moved
Sample complete. Ready to continue?